The year is 1944. Across the war-torn skies of Europe, a relentless battle rages. On a fog-shrouded runway in England, the ground crew waits, their breaths hanging like ghosts in the cold air. Another bombing run is overdue, another team of brave young men lost to the unforgiving clouds. But through the thick, swirling mist, a familiar drone begins to cut the silence. It's a sound of hope, the steady hum of 4 Wright Cyclone engines. A Boeing B-17 Flying Fortress, the workhorse of the American air effort, is returning home. Slowly, the colossal bomber descends from the gray expanse, a phantom emerging from the fog. Its landing gear lowers, locking into place with a reassuring thud. The propellers spin, a blur against the dim light, as the plane touches down with an almost gentle grace. It taxis down the runway, its massive frame gliding through the mist before coming to a perfect, silent stop. The engines wind down, one by one, their roar fading into an eerie quiet that settles over the airfield. Something feels wrong. The silence is too deep, too absolute. Medical teams and ground crew rush towards the aircraft, their boots splashing through puddles on the tarmac. They expect the usual scene, the weary faces of the crew, perhaps some wounded needing urgent care. They prepare stretchers, their faces etched with a mixture of relief and anxiety. The bomber, christened the Phantom Fortress by some, sits motionless. No ramp lowers, no hatch opens. The silence stretches, becoming heavy and unnerving. The crew chief, a veteran of countless such homecomings, feels a knot tighten in his stomach. He signals his team forward. With a creak of metal, they force the main hatch open. The scene inside is not one of chaos or emergency, but of chilling, pristine order. The cabin is empty. 10 parachutes are neatly stowed in their racks. The machine guns are fully loaded, their ammunition belts untouched. Coffee cups, half full, sit on a small table, still warm to the touch. It's as if the crew simply vanished mid-flight. Every seat is vacant, every safety belt unbuckled and perfectly placed. The equipment is arranged with military precision, from the navigation charts laid out on the table to the headsets hanging on their hooks. The investigators' flashlights cut through the dim interior, their beams lingering on these strange, unsettling details. It's a ghost ship, returned from the heavens without its soul. One investigator picks up the flight logbook from the co-pilot station. The book is the voice of any mission, a detailed record of speed, altitude, and position. He flips through the pages, his fingers tracing the neat, familiar handwriting of the pilot. The entries are routine, documenting the flight path, weather conditions, and engine performance. Everything appears normal, standard procedure for a long-range bombing mission. But then, his eyes fall upon the very last entry. Scrawled in a hurried, almost frantic hand, are 7 chilling words that defy all logical explanation. The investigator's blood runs cold as he reads them aloud, his voice a strained whisper in the silent fuselage. We are not alone in the sky. The investigation begins immediately, a desperate search for answers. Officials at the airbase are baffled. How could a 10-man crew disappear from a perfectly functional aircraft in midair? Detectives and military intelligence officers are called in, their faces grim. They trace the bomber's origin, poring over maps and flight plans. The B-17 had taken off from its designated base hours earlier, part of a massive formation heading for a target deep inside enemy territory. Atmospheric charts are studied, papers are shuffled under the dim light of office lamps. Every piece of data is scrutinized, every possibility weighed, but the facts only deepen the mystery. The plane had completed its mission and was on its return leg. There was no distress call, no report of enemy engagement, nothing. The investigation triggers a flashback, a reconstruction of the bomber's final hours. We see the B-17 flying through a tumultuous sky, engulfed by colossal storm clouds. Lightning flashes, illuminating the dark, churning expanse for a split second. The pilot, his face tense, peers into the darkness, his knuckles white on the controls. The air is thick with an unspoken fear. Then, a voice breaks through the static, not from air traffic control, but a whispered transmission from the pilot himself, recorded on the base's listening post just before the plane went silent. His voice is barely audible, strained with terror. Something is following us. Then, nothing. Just the hiss of static, a sound that holds the terrifying weight of the unknown. The audio recording is played again and again, but it offers no more clues. They inspect the powerful engines, their hands tracing the complex machinery. In fact, the engines are still warm, a testament to how recently they were running. The fuel tanks are nearly full, more than enough to have carried the plane and its crew safely back to base and beyond. The mystery only intensifies. A plane this sound, this well-equipped, doesn't just lose its crew. Something forced them out, or worse, took them. He checks the personal effects of the crew, which were left neatly in their lockers. He finds their watches. He then compares them to the clocks on the aircraft's instrument panel. In a moment that defies belief, he realizes that every single timepiece, the wristwatches of the 10 crewmen and the clocks inside the bomber all stopped at the exact same second, 3:45 p.m. The hands are frozen, a silent monument to the precise moment that time, for the crew of this B-17, simply ceased to matter. The camera zooms in slowly on the face of one of the watchers, the second hand poised forever, pointing to a moment of impossible synchronicity. The search of the aircraft continues. One of the ground crew, wiping down the exterior, notices something on a small plexiglass window near the rear gunner's position. The cold air has caused a layer of frost to form on the glass, and on that frost, pressed from the inside, is a perfect, clear handprint. The shape of the hand is distinct, the fingers spread as if pushing against the glass, trying to see something outside, or perhaps trying to get out. The image is eerie, a silent scream frozen in time. The handprint is a ghost's farewell, a final, tangible connection to the men who vanished. Days turn into weeks, and the official investigation stalls, buried under the weight of its own unanswered questions. The case of the Phantom Fortress becomes a quiet legend on the base, a story whispered among pilots and mechanics. Then, something new emerges. A mysterious photograph is delivered to the base commander's office in a plain, unmarked envelope. The picture is grainy, slightly out of focus, but its contents are explosive. It appears to show the 10 missing crew members, alive and well, standing together in front of their B-17. A wave of relief washes over the investigators, but it is short-lived. A team of analysts is assembled to examine the photograph in painstaking detail. They compare the background with known locations, but it matches no airfield in England or Europe. The shadows are all wrong, cast at an angle that is physically impossible for the time of day the photo was supposedly taken. The uniforms the men are wearing, while appearing correct at first glance, have subtle inconsistencies: a badge out of place, a button style not yet issued. It's a masterful forgery or something far more disturbing. The photo seems designed not to provide answers, but to mock the very search for them. It's a message from the void. The story of the Phantom Fortress spreads. Soon, other pilots begin to come forward with their own strange tales. They speak of seeing phantom aircraft in the sky during their missions, planes that appear on their wing for a moment, flying in perfect formation, before vanishing into the clouds. These ghost planes never show up on radar and never respond to radio calls. Are they tricks of the light, figments of a stressed imagination, or are they connected to the mystery? The B-17 itself is eventually repaired and cleared for service again, though no one wants to fly it. It's reassigned to a different squadron. It's past a closely guarded secret, but the plane seems to carry its ghosts with it. On later missions, mechanics working on the aircraft in the dead of night report hearing footsteps inside the empty fuselage. They hear the faint sound of voices, the crackle of a radio that isn't turned on. Its logs are filled with reports of unexplained electrical failures and instruments going haywire mid-flight. The Phantom Fortress, it seems, never truly came home alone. The silhouette of a distant B-17 fades into the mist, a ghost returning to the twilight. A chilling reminder that, even in a world defined by human conflict, there are some things that lie beyond our understanding. The sky holds its secrets close, and sometimes, it doesn't give them back. Thanks for watching. What do you think happened to the crew? Let us know in the comments. And be sure to subscribe before the next ghost flight passes overhead.